Did you guys know we are literally days away from Agents of Yesterday? I am recording this as of June 2nd. Make that July 2nd. We have time traveled, but that would not be an ordinary for what we are about to do. We are now at June... I did it again. I'm living in the past. Literally. No, it is July 2nd currently as of my recording, and we are literally days away from Agents of Yesterday in Star Trek Online. Like, literally several days away. It is so close. July 6th, I believe, is the official date. Correct me if I'm wrong, but we will find out for sure. But I believe it is July 6th. If so, wow, it is upon us like we've never seen before. It's that time. It has come upon us so fast. All right, everybody. I'm the Doctor. Welcome to some Star Trek Online news. This video is dedicated completely to Star Trek Online news. The game, obviously, Star Trek Online. There have been a lot of news updates since my last news update. So bear with me. This could be a very lengthy video, but I want to get through this as quickly as I can. Maybe I won't read everything incredibly in depth, but I will skim over it. Not skip over it. That would be no reason to have a video if you're going to skip over everything. I will skim over everything. And let's start right here where we left off from the last news. This is the Kelvin Timeline. They're doing this, folks. This is happening. Now, I don't know if you're excited about this, or if you're appalled, or if you're offended. I mean, a lot of people could go both ways on this. Some people are going to love this. Some people are going to hate this. Some people may even quit the game over this. I don't know how I feel about it, except that, well, I enjoy new and more content in the game. So from that perspective, I guess it's cool. I can, in my head, separate the fact that there's two different timelines. You've got the Prime Universe. You've got the JJ Universe, is what I'm going to call it. So I can separate that there are two different universes. And, yeah. So let's read about this. The sheer destruction from the Hobus supernova has weakened the barrier between our reality and one strangely similar to our own, leaving a strange temporal anomaly in its wake. This anomaly serves as a gateway between our universe and a quantum universe, both similar and different to our own. Interdimensional travel between these two realms is now a possibility, as the crew of the USS Kelvin found out to their destiny. Players will soon be able to journey to the alternate reality seen in Star Trek and Star Trek Into Darkness. A new mission awaits our captains there, along with other exciting surprises. Look for future updates on Star Trek Online content, blah, blah, blah. So there you go. We are going to get a mission in the JJ universe from our universe. It makes sense logically. I mean, seriously, it does, because the universe was created when the Hobus went supernova, and the Narnia ship went back into the past, and everything just changed, and everyone Kirk looks different, totally different. The Enterprise looks different. It looks like a brewery. Everything's a little more advanced and a little bit bigger. Got the Enterprise here, the size of the Enterprise D. So, things went crazy. But at any rate, yeah, we're going to get to play that. And I'm looking at the pictures here. Let's get a close-up on these, see if we can. Yeah, there we go. I can see they have embraced the lens flare. So yay for canonicity, or whatever the word is. It's canon, folks. I mean, they have stuck to canon on this because there are lens flares there. Now I see why they've updated the lighting system in the game. They would have had to add the 50 million spotlights that the JJ universe apparently has in their universe. Apparently that's one of the big changes in the universe, is they have added a lot of more lighting to ships. Lens flares for the win. So anyway, yeah, I can see that it definitely is a good representation of that bridge. that we saw on the Enterprise. So that's good in terms of, you know, their ability to replicate things seen in movies or things like that. They've done a good job here replicating it. So if you're a fan of the bridge, you're a fan of the ship, it looks like that's going to be a part of it. So that's really cool if you're a fan of it. You got, let's see what this is here. We got the android. Now, I didn't know this when I first watched the movie. The very first time I watched the movie, of course, I didn't pick up the fact that he was an android. I thought he was just a regular, you know, person. But actually, I say android, I mean more like, he's more like a cyborg than an android. He's like a combination of whatever alien species he is plus augmented cybernetics. So he's not a full android like Data. He's more like a cyborg, but I didn't know that, of course, when I first watched the movie. Even the second time I watched the movie, I didn't know that. It had to be explained to me because I didn't really pick up on that fact. They didn't make that too clear. Anyway, I think he's going to be a part of whatever mission we're going to be playing here in the universe. And they're calling it the Kelvin Timeline. I called it the JJ Universe. They're calling it the Kelvin Timeline. I guess that's a good enough name because everyone can, you know, make that connection with the Kelvin ship and all that. So I suppose that's okay. I mean, if it sounds like it's just going to be one mission. So it's not like, you know, we're going to get to go into the universe and have a whole game inside their universe, or the whole game will be about the universe. No, it just sounds like it's going to be maybe a mission, maybe two missions, and that's kind of like it. So that'll be interesting anyway. It's something a little different. I really don't mind it because, like I said, I enjoy more content. So, you know, I'm not going to complain if they want to, you know, go out of the box a little bit there. That's fine with me. We've got more stuff about the art team. You can read the developers' opinions and stuff on developing art for the original series. That's cool to read. It looks like more console UI stuff. Again, I'm not going to be playing this on a console. I'm not really concerned about this, but if you are playing on a console or you plan to in the future, then by all means go read about how the UI works because it's going to be very important to you. Let's see what else we got here. Terminal Expanse. I don't know what this is. Spock, the legendary Starfleet officer, scientist, and diplomat, accepted a mission to make a daring attempt to save the dying star Hobus. His mission was not successful, however, and the effects of the Hobus supernova have echoed through time and space. This series of events is now referred to as the Kelvin Incident by temporal agents and multi-spatial researchers. Ooh, I want to be a multi-spatial researcher. The sheer destruction from that moment in time has weakened the barrier between our reality and one strangely similar to our own, leaving a strange temporal anomaly in its wake. While most are content to allow alternate realities to be, others have looked on them as unique opportunities to exploit the consequences to the natives. Blah, blah, blah. Terminal Expanse will take players not only back in time, but to this strange alternate Kelvin timeline. This mission will be available to all players at level 40 and above once Agents of Yesterday launches. So this is just talking about what we just talked about, basically. This is connected to that mission that we're going to be playing. Some interesting way to travel through realities, it looks like, or something. Now, to me, I don't know how you guys think about this. I guess there's several different ways you could. But in my mind, a different timeline and an alternate reality are kind of the same thing. In the multi-universe theory, any change in a timeline would create another universe or create another reality. So just going to a different reality where different outcomes and results have occurred is a different timeline in its anyway. I mean, to me, the definitions are synonymous. Timeline, reality, universe, they're all the same. They all affect, I mean, the effect is the same. It results in a new timeline, quote, or a new reality, quote, or a new universe, quote, that has diverged from the original. And with multi-universe theory, there's an infinite number. It just never ends. There's just an absolute infinite number of universes and realities and timelines that exist. That's the way I think about it anyway. Let's see what we got here. console ground UI. More about that. Looks like some visual effect changes too. If you're on console, looks like you're going to have some different visual effects for things, unless that's just like a power that we haven't seen yet or something. I wonder if we're going to see those changes on holodeck. Here's another weekly before and after shot showing this is, I guess, the researcher station. I remember this mission, kind of, except I don't remember these dudes in it. Oh, I guess that's a player right there. Okay. So that's the before. That's the before shot. It was pretty dark. I do remember that researcher rescue station or whatever that what mission is. Here we go. I mean, it's definitely brighter. I mean, I guess it looks better. I guess we really won't know how all this is going to affect everything until we're like actually in the game and we replay these missions and see what they look like compared to what we remember them as. Because just on the just if I were to ask somebody sitting beside me who doesn't know anything about anything, and I just ask them what's the difference between these two, well, they're just going to say, well, one's brighter than the other, because that's kind of all you would see here. One's brighter than the other. I can spot some differences knowing what I know, but they're very subtle. There's a little bit different bloom going on there, a little bit better. So I don't know. We'll see what happens. I think ultimately my one of my complaints before, and kind of still is just the texture quality in general. You can spiffy up the lighting all you want, but all that's going to do is enhance how bad your texture quality actually is, the resolution of your textures and that kind of stuff. That's just going to show where your faults really lie. And repeating textures, they have a real bad habit of repeating textures and everything. So, I don't know. We'll see how that turns out. I mean, I'm definitely looking forward to it. I mean, any upgrade in the graphics is welcomed. I just from these shots, I don't see, that it's going to make a huge difference just yet. But we'll wait. Maybe it will. So we'll see. All right, moving on. Here we go. This is our cybernetic friend. I don't know his name. Joseph Gat. I guess his name is 0718. Sure, why not? And it looks like they definitely have brought this model into the game, so that's what it looks like. And obviously the new JJ uniforms as well, they have a more patterned texture to them on that uniform, which I actually kind of like. I like, if there's one thing about the new Star Trek that I actually do like a lot, it is the uniforms. I think the uniforms are very modern. They're retro yet modern, if you know what I mean. I think they're actually pretty cool looking. So it would be neat if we got those uniforms in the game, actually. I wouldn't mind that. Joseph Gat makes his debut in Star Trek Online soon. He'll reprise his role as Cyborg Crewman 0718, last seen in Star Trek Into Darkness. 0718 cybernetic implants allow him to interface with the Enterprise's main computer at an enhanced speed. Now, see, this is stuff I didn't know. No one knew this. How do you know this? 0718 has been on the frontier, engaging the forces of the alien sphere builders on board the USS Yorktown. The dangers these enigmatic visitors bring to the Kelvin Timeline may be more than the crew can handle, however. 0718 is one of the more unusual characters of the new Kelvin Timeline of Star Trek. What makes him so intriguing is that he actually looks somewhat artificial. The pale skin, the pale eyes, and the athletic build, and yet Joseph Gat brings a certain human feel to it, despite the character being augmented. So it's not a full android, it's an augmented alien, or human, or whatever. Which is interesting, and I think something we would see in the future for sure. Kind of surprised that, Star Trek, the original or the Next Generation didn't really have that for a long time. Of course, you got the Borg, but that was like a zombified version of it, Yeah, so that's kind of cool. I didn't know his name, and interesting that his cybernetics allow him to interface with the computer at a faster speed. I wonder to what benefit that has. Well, interesting anyway. And it sounds like he's not on the Enterprise, he's on the Yorktown, so it's going to be a different ship. Obviously, it's going to look just like the Enterprise, but it's going to be not the Enterprise. Let's see. The head was fun. Oh, and just one more thing. Sphere builders. It looks like we're definitely going to be dealing with the sphere builders. So that is something that Enterprise, the series, started with, and it sounds like that's going to play a part in this temporal Cold War stuff here. Is the sphere builders. So that's kind of interesting. The head was fun to do because the handsome lines and features of Gat has. Whenever we sculpt, we like to add in hair and eyebrows as early as possible, but this character, he likes both, so it was somewhat strange at first. So they're just talking about how they built the character. I guess y'all can read all that. I'm not going to go into it right here. The reference photos they picked up. So he's going to be in there. I wonder what kind of role he's going to have, or interact. I wonder what kind of interaction we're going to have with him. So that'll be interesting to find out. We've got, what is this? Price of Freedom. This is on Nimbus, but this is one of those stories. Okay, so I'm not going to read this whole thing now. This is, again, just kind of fleshing out where the storyline is in the game and giving you some background story info as we go into this next, segment of the game. So you can read all this. I'm not going to read it here because it's too long, but definitely come here and read it. Release notes. Nah, let's not do that. 26th century ships. Now, this one I'm interested in because I believe the Enterprise J was a 26th century ship. Now, if you're not familiar with the Enterprise J, it was in Enterprise. There was an episode where Daniels took him into the future, the 26th century, and they were on board the Enterprise J, where Xindi were part of the bridge officer crew and that kind of thing. They were part of the ship's crew at that time, but they showed a schematic of the J on a display in the hallway they were at, and they were fighting the sphere builders, but they showed what the ship looked like, and it was very different and very unique. It was very you could almost say thin. It was very slimline, but the nacelles on it were like kind of tiny and really drawn out. It was very unique. Anyway, if you've never seen it, Google Enterprise J, and you will see it. So I'm wondering if they're going to have Enterprise J in the game now that 26th century ships are going to be a thing. Apparently, we're not even in the 26th century yet. Still in the 25th, but apparently somehow 26th century ships are going to play a part now. I mean, we're really getting ships just all over the timeline here in this game, which is really kind of strange because, I don't know, they're building from what they've seen on the show, but they're making a lot of stuff up too. So let's read about this here. All right, we're excited to announce our 26th century temporal starships that will be made available with Agents of Yesterday. These vessels were inspired by the starships revealed in the 23rd century temporal starship stats blog. These new ships are all Tier 6 and feature temporal operative special bridge officer seats as well as brand new molecular reconstruction mechanic. So they're pretty much like the 29th and 31st century ships, except they just look different, I guess, because it sounds like they support that molecular reconstruction thing and temporal bridge officer seating. So yeah. Now, I don't know though. I mean, I'm trying to think about this because I think they should be a little bit better than Tier 6, don't you? I mean, if the current Tier 6 ships are like the end of the 25th century, and that's what we're getting with the current Tier 6 ships, they're like end of 25th century technology, very advanced, very cool. But then 26th century ships, shouldn't those be like Tier 7 ships? I mean, those should be a notch up, right? I mean, you would think. And then, of course, 29th and 31st century ships, heck, those should be Tier 25. I don't know. I mean, I'm just saying, if you want to keep the power levels where they're supposed to be for that level of ship in that century, in that timeline or whatever, then you would have to increase the tier on it. Of course, I know they won't do that because all those ships would be op, but that would be the point, wouldn't it? Because they're supposed to be. They're from the future. So that's one thing I've always hated, is to take a future ship, like take a 31st century ship. I mean, so far in the future, even in Star Trek Online or Star Trek's time, so far in the future, take that and make it feel like a ship that's in the 24th or 25th century. That's just so lame. That ship should own everything. If it's from the 29th or 31st century, it should own everything in the 24th or 25th. You should be able to fly that ship in the game and just obliterate everything. Logically. Obviously, I guess they can't do that. But, I mean, come on. That would make sense. Alright, let's read about these. These starships will be available in a number of ways. Temporal Special Agent Packs. Individual via the C-Store. Captains who purchase these ships and costumes included in the pack will not be disqualified from purchasing the Temporal Special Agent Pack. Costumes. One special feature about these ships is that if you own its 23rd century counterpart, you will be able to switch to that costume. The Nautilus class temporal science vessel can use the Daedalus class science vessel's costume. The Theseus class temporal escort can use the Perseus class costume. The Spaghetti class temporal cruiser can use the Gemini class. And the Paladin class temporal battle cruiser can use the Ranger class. Okay. Sure, why not? Molecular reconstruction, we've already talked about that in a previous video, so I'm not going to go over that again, but they have this defensive, offensive support and molecular deconstruction beam just like those other ships are going to have. So are these just costumes then? Or, I guess these are 26th century versions of 23rd century ships. My mind is insanely crazy right now. I don't know what's going on. It's so confusing. So many ships, too. I can't keep up with all these ships. I just can't. It's impossible. Impossible. Inspired. Okay, so this one is the Nautilus class, which is that. Inspired by the 23rd century Daedalus class vessel, the Nautilus class packs a tactical punch and a science vessel. Starfleet incorporated several new systems of the Nautilus, many of which involve nanotechnology developed in conjunction with the Borg Cooperative. About time they got nanotechnology. We're talking about nanotechnology here in the 21st century, and they're just now getting it in the 26th century or whatever. They're so behind the times. Tier 6, C-Store, 23rd century Starfleet TOS and 23rd century Starfleet TOS, or 23rd, whatever. Vice Admiral, it has hull, it has shield, 3 fore, 3 aft, 1 ensign tactical, 1 lieutenant commander tactical, 1 lieutenant engineering temporal agent, 1 commander science, definitely a science ship, base turn rate 14, turns pretty good, plus 15 to aux and power, and plus 5 to shield. All kinds of stuff. It has a universal temporal destabilizer probe. All this sounds familiar. It sounds like we've talked about all these things before. And there's also a fleet version as well. Fleet temporal science vessel. So the fleet just has upgraded stats, basically. Upgraded shield and upgraded hull. Okay. The Theseus class. Theseus. Temporal escort. A futuristic take on the Perseus class. The Theseus class escort utilizes... Why are we getting 26th century ships? What? Okay, if we already have the 23rd equivalent of these 23rd century equivalent of the ships, what part is the 26th century playing? Why are we getting 26th century ships? And why aren't they tier 7? So this one is Commander Tactical. Definitely a tactical ship. It's got the Temporal Rift Warhead. I want to look at what these consoles do. Then a fleet version of it as well. Then you have the Spaghetti class Temporal Cruiser. It's got 4 nacelles. That is your Commander Engineering. That's your engineering ship. Pretty tanky. What's the console called on it? It is called a Chronoton Particle Exciter. It sounds like I've heard that before too. They're just like rehashing everything from the other ships and putting them with a new costume, basically. That's what it sounds like. You got the Paladin class, similar to the Ranger. Commander Engineering, another engineering type ship. It has the Heavy Phaser Assault Platform. Look at that profile. Looks like a vacuum cleaner or something. Okay, sure. Why not? Fleet version of it. So we're getting fleet versions of these 26th century ships too. I just think they need to be a higher tier. Maybe a tier 6.5. I mean, or how about this? A tier tier 6U, because they have that whole upgrade thing where it's like you become an upgrade ship. If you're a tier 5 ship, you can get a T5U ship. Maybe they should have made these U ships where you can spend that upgrade token and get a T6U ship. Maybe that's what these should have been. I think that would have been a little bit better, because I think that would make sense. Being 26th century temporal ships, then they should be T5U ships, right? That would make a little more sense. Okay, we got the Nanoprobe Containment Module, the science vessel one. Your starship will release a swarm of nanoprobes towards your target. The swarm will deal physical damage over time as it slowly eats away at the target's starship's hull. That sounds lovely. How about a nice lunch of starship hull for breakfast? I'll have one of those. Cook it right up. Let's see. Let's do the Time Stream Rift Warhead. Comes equipped with the Time Stream Rift Warhead console. Console is activated. Will launch a warhead at your target. Upon impact, the warhead will cause heavy physical damage and create a hazardous temporal rift. Those good old hazard temporal rifts. Gotta have one of those. Chronoton Particle Exciter. When this ability is activated, you and your teammates will gain a massive boost to damage resistance, and all outgoing hull and shield heals are subsequently more powerful for the duration. Heavy Phaser Assault Platform. When this ability is activated, the battlecruiser will deploy a platform that is bristling with overcharged... They are using some very descriptive words for these abilities. It's bristling with overcharged phaser arrays. After a few seconds, it will begin firing devastating blasts of phaser fire at nearby foes. After a short time, the platform will trigger a self-destruct, all hands to escape pods, self-destruct sequence. Well, that's just kind of crazy. If it isn't destroyed before the sequence is complete, it will cause massive kinetic damage to nearby foes. So our ship blows up when we use the phasers. Got it. Okay. So we have new traits as well. Improved polarized hull. After achieving level 5 for the tier 6 science ship, you have improved polarized hull. While this trait is slotted, activating polarized hull will periodically remove movement impairing effects, as well as damage over time and hazard effects. Then you got design target. After achieving level 5 in the temporal escort, you get that trait. It says while the trait is slotted and you kill a target affected by your focus assault ability, allies within 5 kilometers of the defeated target will gain a moderate hull heal and damage boost. Shield overload. While this trait is slotted, activating emergency power to shields will also apply a massive boost to damage resistance and shield hardness. And retaliation. In the temporal battlecruiser, you will unlock retaliation. While this trait is slotted and you suffer a critical hit, you will gain a boost to your weapon damage and critical hit chance. I think people will like retaliation, especially the DPSers. This buff stacks up to 3 times. Someone explain to me again why we're getting 26th century ships that are tier 6. Thanks. Okay. Star Trek Online Art of the 26th Century. Yeah, okay. Well, I'm not going to read all this right now, but you can. This will kind of give you some ideas on how the art direction they went with these ships. So that's a thing. Okay, the Infinity Lockbox. I have seen these in game lately, so this is new, guys. An Infinity Lockbox. It's about time they revamped the lockbox, right? We are excited to announce a complete overhaul of our existing all lockbox drop event, with the introduction of a new method of obtaining prizes from retired lockboxes. Beginning with the upcoming event, players will no longer find odd lockboxes being rewarded by missions and defeating enemies, but will instead be occasionally rewarded with infinity lockboxes. These boxes, just like all previous lockboxes, require a master key to open. However, the contents will include prizes from nearly all retired boxes in a single massive prize table. So does that mean even less chance of getting things now? In order to help ensure that this massive number of prizes doesn't place your desired prize too far out of reach, thank you for thinking about that, We are introducing an element of choice into the Infinity Lockbox. Most prize entries will reward the key user with an Infinity Prize Pack for whichever prize entry they won. Infinity Prize Packs are bound to the person that won them, but offer an unrestricted choice as to which item they wish to have won. Once that choice is made, the items rewarded will be unbound and can be freely traded, sold, gifted to other players. Example, you may win an item named Infinity Prize Pack Tier 6 Starship, which will be bound to the character that won it. Upon using or activating this package, you will be presented with a choice that includes all previously offered Tier 6 starships, Benthan Assault Cruiser, Vodwar Mansa Assault Escort, or the Krenim Imperial Warship. Choosing any of these entries will reward you with a packed-up version of that ship, which can then be kept and open for yourself or freely traded. Well, this is cool, guys, because it not only allows us to have access to all previous rewards that have been in any lockbox, but it also gives us a choice to what we want. So, like, if you do win a ship like this, and let's say you've already got the Krenim ship, well, go ahead and get yourself the Benthan ship, or the Vodwar ship. Now you'll have an option to get a different ship, instead of just a random whatever box ship that was going to be before. I like this idea. I think that's good. I just hope that, you know, that it really doesn't, you know, keep you from getting some prizes, because like the prize table on this has got to be huge. So I just hope some of them don't, you know, fall to the wayside. But I like the idea of this. I have not opened one of these boxes yet, so this is a good idea. So I'm guessing we'll probably have less drops of these than we had previously of the other boxes, which is another good thing, because my inventory would just fill up with lock boxes. Just I had to delete them all because they would just fill up with lock boxes. Okay, now it says here the Infinity Lockbox will only be available for a limited time. However, each time it returns, it will be updated with additional prizes from more recently retired lockboxes. So this is not an always on, you'll always see Infinity Lockbox thing. They're going to retire this after a time and then bring it back occasionally. So they're making these prizes actually harder to get by doing that, because you can only get these lockboxes while the event is on, while they're available. So I would recommend going and collecting as many as you can, because I bet once the event is over, the price of them on the exchange will skyrocket. So it will appear on June 28th, so it's already active right now. And it will run until the release of Agents of Yesterday, so you don't have a lot of time to collect these boxes, guys. I think July 6th is it? So you do not have a lot of time. I could be wrong about July 6th, but I think so. I'm probably wrong about it. Okay, this is also going on. Featured Episode Replay. The Featured Episode Replay event is back from June 30th at 10 a.m. Pacific until July 14th at 10 a.m. The Feature Episode series is offering their special unique rewards for completion. So, these are the missions that have been out that have these special rewards. So, for example, if you play the last series in the Davidian storyline, what's the last mission called? It's Bepi 113 or whatever that thing is, but I forgot the name of the mission. It's the last mission, Inspectors. And you get the, oh, here it is right here, Night of the Comet. How could I forget Night of the Comet? If you replay Night of the Comet, you don't have to play the whole series, by the way. They make this sound like you have to play the whole series in order to get the thing, but you don't. You only have to replay the last mission in the series to get the reward. So if you replay Night of the Comet, you will get the Ophidian Cane. If you replay Cutting the Cord, for this one, you will get the Riemann Bridge Officer, because Darkness Before the Dawn is not really a mission, it's just a follow-up thing. So Cutting the Cord will get you the Riemann Bridge Officer, and Boldly They Rode will get you the Shard of Possibilities. I highly recommend you do Boldly They Rode and get the Shard of Possibilities. It's a great ability. You got these quantum doubles, that you can enable. So it allows players that aren't tactical, for example, to have like an extra team. It's basically quantum doubles of yourself, but I mean it's pretty much like tactical team, and it's really useful. You got cold case and cold storage. It will give you the Breen Bridge Officer. Now he is on the exchange for a pretty cheap price, but I guess you can get him free anyway. So this is going on right now until July 14th. I think I'm going to replay these on any characters. I don't have these rewards, so I can get them. Definitely worth it. Probably will do it on Rami Summers too, so that she can have these items. It's a good chance to get these now until July 14th. So is Agency yesterday July 14th then? I could be totally wrong about this. I don't know why I said the 6th. Maybe I'm wrong. I'll have to look that up now. I'm so confused. Star Trek Online weekly before and after. Okay, here's another weekly before and after. Here's the before shot and here's the after shot. Again, it's brighter and there's more bloom. Definitely more bloom. But I kind of like the dark shot because it makes the displays on the panels stand out. See this shot here, the after shot? Look how washed out the display is. Like this display here and the before shot, so much more contrast. I really like the looks of those displays. And the after shot, it's washed out. It's like the brightness has been turned up on it 1,000,000% or something. It's just so washed out. I don't like the after shot on the displays. Look, it even changes the color. I mean, it's like it goes from green to like a light blue. It's so bright that it has gone from green to light blue. Now, when you have lighting that outright changes the color because it's too bright, you may want to rethink about what you're doing because they are really changing. I mean, look at that color change. It's from green to light blue or light green. It's crazy. What a color change. So I don't know how I feel about that quite yet. It's really changing some of the displays there. Overall, I would say I like it enough, but it's just brighter to me. It's just, I don't know. We'll see what happens. Okay. This is what I've been looking forward for. 31st century Starship ship stats. So we are getting 31st century. Now, I talked about the 26th century ships should be like tier 6U or something like that. I mean, a 31st century ship should be like tier 8, 9, 10. I mean, come on. 31st century, guys. You know, that's even ahead of the 29th century that we saw in Voyager, you know, and with Captain Braxton and all that stuff. That was 29th century. This is 31st. This is Daniel's time. This is even ahead of that, you know. They should be more advanced than 29th century. So a ship of the 31st century should be able to just come in and one button destroy everything in its radius. I'm just saying that would make sense. Today's blog covers the amazing 31st century temporal starships that will be made available with our third expansion, Agents of Yesterday. Unlike the 23rd and 26th century starships, these sleek, futuristic Tier 6 vessels can be used by players of any faction. Like the 26th century starships, these ships also have a commander, temporal operative specialist bridge officer seat, and access to the molecular reconstruction mechanic. So they are tier 6 ships. Again, here's a 31st century ship on the same power level as a late 25th century ship, and a 26th century ship, and a 29th century ship. It makes no sense at all. None. These starships will be available in a number of ways: Temporal Special Agent Pack and the C-Store. Not going to go over the molecular construction stuff. Can't even say it. My mouth is dry now. I've been talking for 40 minutes. Wow. Eternal Class. Okay. While equipped with cutting-edge scientific technology, the Eternal Class was designed to fulfill a number of roles in the field. Built to operate alone on the frontier or as part of a fleet, the Eternal is a versatile part of the 31st century Starfleet. This starship features a Commander Science Temporal Operative Bridge Officer Station and Lieutenant Tactical Temporal Operative Bridge Officer Station. This starship has a single hangar bay equipped with Epoch fighters. These light craft are equipped with anti-proton beam arrays and chronoton torpedo launchers. Pretty basic setup there. Doesn't sound much different than a Wells or the Aeon time shuttles or whatever. As for the look of it, I can see where they are trying to think of how this would progress from a 29th century starship, but I think it should still be a little more unique. But anyway, Tier 6. Let me look at that hull. 43,000 hull for a 31st century ship. That should be 430,000 hull. Who's with me? Shield modifier 1.45. Pretty high shield modifier for a Tier 6 ship, I guess. But it's still a Tier 6 ship. 3 aft weapons. I mean, it's a science ship, so I mean, this thing's not going to be much more powerful than any other ship in the game. They're all just so similar. There's no ships that really stand out. They've got so many ships now that they're all just similar. They're the same. Give me something different in power or something. Do something different. You know, give me 6-4 weapon slots. Do something different. Base turn of 11.5, 3 tac, 3 engineering, 5 science. It's got a console called causal anchor. Causal, because we're dealing with time here. How clever. Kronos class temporal dreadnought. So I'm guessing this is going to be big. Designed to face the greatest threats of the temporal battlefield, the massive Kronos class dreadnought is truly a force to be reckoned with. When the temporal Cold War goes hot, Starfleet calls for the power of the Kronos. This starship features a Commander Engineering Temporal Operative Bridge Officer Station and a Lieutenant Universal Temporal Operative Station. This starship has a single hangar bay equipped with Epoch fighters, same as the other ship above. 57,600 hull, 1.15, 4 aft weapons, kind of slow. Kind of a slow turn rate. Has Epoch fighters that don't sound that impressive. It has chronotachyon capacitor console. Now, I like the looks of this one. This is the Ouroboros class. This is pretty cool looking. It looks like a Batwing. Gotta admit, it looks like Batman's flying up in here. But I like that. I mean, it's got a good look to it. It does. I mean, the design is good. I don't know about the color. I would not choose that color, but the design of it is pretty good. The Ouroboros Raider from the future puts fear into the hearts of her enemies. And Ouroboros brings potent weaponry and tactical systems to the fight in whatever era she's developed in, making the Raider a valuable asset in the temporal Cold War. This starship features a Commander Universal Temporal Operative Bridge Officer Station and Lieutenant Universal Temporal Operative Station. Let's see what the turn rate. 22.5 turn rate. So yeah, pretty good turn rate. Hull is not that great. Shield modifier. It has some. 2 aft. Really, really weak on the aft. 5 tactical though. 3 engineering, 3 science. Plus 15 to weapons. It has a battle cloak. That's cool. I mean, it should. It's from the future. Tactical system stabilizer. So let's read about these consoles real quick. Causal anchor. While this console is equipped, your starship is capable of forcefully realigning any local anomalies in the time stream. This causes a pair of temporal anomalies to appear near your target. These anomalies will slowly move toward your target's location at the time of activating this ability. Any foe that comes in contact with either anomaly will suffer physical damage, have power drained, and have their flight speed reduced and be pulled toward the anomaly. So basically, is that Gravity Well plus Tychon's Rift? Is that all they've done? They've combined a Gravity Well and a Tychon's Rift together and said, let's call it a causal anchor. That's what it sounds like to me. Universal, we got chronotachyon capacitor. When this ability is activated, your starship will draw the attention of nearby foes. You will recover hull hit points and shield hit points each time you are hit by directed energy weapons, and you will gain a stack of chronotachyon capacitance. After a short time, this effect will end, and you will gain a short duration buff to directed energy damage, critical hit chance, and critical severity. That one sounds kind of okay. This one has tactical system stabilizer. When this console is equipped, your starship is capable of activating an ability that will overcharge your starship's weapon systems and tactical computers for a short time. While active, your weapon's cycle haste is dramatically increased and your bridge officer recharge time is reduced. So there you go. That's pretty cool. Those are the consoles. And they have set bonuses: advanced engineering, passive, direct energy weapon, max hull hit points, and a third piece reduces the recharge time of all consoles in the set. So if you have the whole set, it does that. Starship traits, of course, since these are tier 6 ships. Particle feedback. Let's see. While this trait is slotted, using an exotic damage ability will provide a small bonus to armor penetration. Well, that's cool. Exotic modulation. While this trait is slotted, using directed energy modulation or any temporal operative ability will provide a large boost to exotic damage. Now that's for the Dreadnought, which is really more of an engineering ship. So interesting that it has a science ability like exotic damage for an engineering type of ship. Interesting. I don't know. Regroup. After, let's see, you unlock regroup. While this trait is slotted, your attack pattern bridge officer abilities will reduce the recharge time on engineering and temporal operative bridge officer abilities. 31st Century Hangar Pets. You got the Epoch Fighters. They have one anti-proton beam array, one chronoton. The Advanced have one anti-proton, one chronoton, and one anti-proton beam array aft. So they have 2 4 and one aft. The other ones just have 2 4. And then the elite ones have anti-proton beam array 4, a chronoton torpedo 4, and a beam array aft. Oh, and they have these abilities. This one has channel deconstruction, and this one has channel deconstruction and beam fire at will. Now, if I recall, channel deconstruction, you have to be kind of close to your enemy for that to work. I'm not sure. I don't really recall what that's about, but I kind of do, sort of. I'll have to read what that is. I forgot, actually. Okay, well, those are the 31st century ships. Now, I mean, I'm a sucker for time travel and, you know, ships of the future. I mean, but again, I just have this natural problem with introducing ships from the future that are only as powerful as current level ships. It just doesn't make sense. You know, they're supposed to be the baddest ships on the line, you know, the ones that are fighting the temporal Cold War and all this stuff, but yet they're only as powerful as a tier 6 starship. You got a problem with that. I know that, you know, from a game perspective, you can't have one ship that's just going to obliterate everything else, because then everyone would just go to that ship and nothing else. But, I mean, it kind of makes sense to do that, in a way. I mean, or at least make the 26th and 31st century ships T6U ships, like I mentioned. I think that's the better way to go, because it at least gives us a little bit of a boost over a tier 6 ship and makes them a little more useful. I don't know. Okay, so what's this? Another announcement for Agents of Yesterday official launch trailer. I think I already saw this, though. And if you want to see it, you can go to the page. I'm not going to play it here, but you can go see it. I'm still confused on the date of this. I thought I knew it. Now I've forgotten it. 31st century ship art. You can read about that. I'm definitely going to read about this because I'm interested in how they came up with the 31st century ones. But yeah, I'm going to read about that. C-Store Summer Sale. Everything will be on a 20% sale for one day only. They're going to have a C-Store sale. What date is that? July 1st? Oh, well, it's July 2nd, so, oh well. It's been a long time since I've caught up on the news here. Star Trek Memories, another one of those storyline things. Stream content for consoles, more release notes, more bonuses in now. 15% bonuses in sell. They're really trying to sell a lot of stuff and make a lot of money, aren't they? Kelvin lockbox. Oh, here it goes. We're getting a Kelvin lockbox. Is that going to be inside the Infinity lockbox, or is that going to be its own lockbox? And, well, I'm definitely looking at JJ Trek's ship. I'm guessing this is maybe the Yorktown, not the Enterprise. But still, there it is, guys. We're getting that ship in this game. I still, definitely from this angle, those nacelles are just too funky. They need to be higher up and spread more apart. Are you with me? Because that just doesn't look like the old Enterprise. They're too squished together. I mean, they really need to be higher up and farther apart. They just really do. It's kind of bad. Yeah, I mean, look at that. It's so unproportioned. I don't know. Yeah, they got it. Those nacelles got to make them. Got to change that. But I know they're just following what the JJ Enterprise was. All right. In the midst of the confrontations currently raging across multiple eras in the primary timeline, there have also been incidents of incursions into entirely alternate realities. One such breach has resulted in many artifacts and technological oddities from another timeline getting pulled into our own. A closer examination of this timeline reveals that it is a divergent reality that split from our own as a result of a confrontation in the 23rd century between an unknown Romulan vessel that had been displaced from the time stream and a Federation starship. The USS Kelvin, as a result of this temporal incursion, the entire timeline that followed these events has come to be called the Kelvin Timeline. Examination of the time lost salvage taken from the Kelvin timeline reveals that the Federation of that reality had a decidedly higher emphasis on military technologies, likely as a direct result of their overwhelming defeat at the hands of the alien vessel that invaded their space in the 23rd century. The same has shown to be true of the Klingon and Romulan ships of that time. This emphasis on cutting-edge technology allows their starships and equipment to be comparable with our own in the early 25th century. Well, that's quite a leap in technology there. Basically, they went from what 23rd century type ships were before the Narada came through, and now they jumped to 25th century technology, and like overnight it seems. Kind of a leap there. Or I guess whatever the time was between the Kelvin and where we are now. I still think that's a bit of a stretch. So their ships are on par with our 25th century ships now. Whew, man, that is really wacky. I don't like it. Despite technically being hundreds of years old. A small group of industrious scientists have taken it upon themselves to replicate these designs and distribute them throughout the modern era. Why would you replicate the designs? I mean, why? What's the point of that? You've already got good ships. It is thrilling to finally have the opportunity to include assets and characters from the recently rebooted Star Trek franchise. Blah, 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 blah. The time travel and dimensional shifts have presented us with the perfect storytelling tools to allow such a crossover as something that could reasonably exist within our prime timeline. Like I said, I do like the uniforms. That's the one thing I like about them, because it's TOS inspired, but yet still a little modernized, so it doesn't look corny. But it actually looks good. It looks like something I would wear or could wear in public. The Kelvin timeline will be presented in the story of Agents of Yesterday in the form of a dimensional incursion that your character as temporal agents will be tasked with finding a way to set straight. While visiting this alternate reality, players will interact with characters and starships pulled directly from the silver screen, and now by opening a Kelvin lockbox, some of these same ships and technology can be used to defend time itself from those that would manipulate it for their own games. Don't tell me they're going to give us a cruiser. They're going to give us a cruiser. And it's NCC 1701, I just noticed. That is the Enterprise. Unlike most lockboxes from this past, the Kelvin lockbox will reward players from each faction, Federation, Klingon, and Romulan with different starships and the grand prize. Well, that's the Enterprise right there. The Kelvin Timeline Heavy Command Cruiser. So it's a heavy cruiser, which the original Enterprise wasn't a heavy cruiser. Federation characters may find themselves fortunate enough to win the Kelvin Timeline Heavy Command Cruiser, also known as the Constitution class. This formidable vessel is a true command cruiser in every regard, including the ability to utilize inspiration mechanics and coming standard with a commander rank commander specialist bridge officer seat. Redundancy is a way of life for the Federation regardless of timeline, and this starship is no exception. It comes equipped with a console universal auxiliary ejection assembly, which will allow the ship to release small antimatter intermix chambers that are then detonated to deal massive damage to nearby foes while offering the user a speed and maneuverability boost. So basically, they're replicating the move to destroy the anomaly, the black hole thing, whatever, in the movie. They're using that same thing. This console also offers a passive bonus to exotic damage abilities as well as current and max aux power. Note sources of max power do not stack. Completing the Starship Mastery Path on the Kelvin Timeline Heavy Command Cruiser grants captains access to the following trait: down but not out. Max subsystem power in all subsystems increases as health decreases, and up to plus 20 maximum bonus when at 20% hull capacity. Well, it's happening, guys. We're getting that Enterprise in this game. If those of you who, when this game came out, and this game came out in 2009, like when the first movie came out, no one ever thought we would ever get that ship in this game, because this was supposed to be Prime Universe. You know, they were sticking to that, and now we're getting this. Some are going to hate this, some are going to love this, some are going to be indifferent. Like I said, I enjoy new content, but I know that this could upset a lot of people. It could also make a lot of people happy. I don't know. Now we're going to also get the Kelvin Timeline D4X Bird of Prey. Holy crap, that is definitely a different looking Klingon ship right there. I mean, is that what it really looked like in the movie? Because, wow, that is really different. Did they even show Klingon ship like that? I'm not sure. Oh, and the Klingons, of course, themselves look different, which is weird. Klingon captains that win the grand prize will find themselves rewarded with the Kelvin Timeline D4X Bird of Prey. This extremely nimble raider is fully outfitted as a true pilot vessel, including pilot maneuvers and a commander rank pilot specialist. While a focus on ambushing and overpowering foes with the maximum amount of available firepower, this ship comes stocked with a console universal proton charge launcher, which can unleash a barrage of high-powered projectiles at both the primary target and randomly selected secondary target every half second. This must-have arsenal also offers passive bonuses to hull, as well as current and max engine power. So you guys tell me if that's a good ship or not, because I don't know. And I guess we're going to get the uniforms as well. I like the helmets. This one here, you know, with the thing, he just didn't look that Klingon. Now this guy here, he looks pretty Klingon. I don't know. They look so different. I mean, you can tell they're Klingon, but no, they're not Klingon enough. But I guess it would make sense if they're still recovering from that pathogen, whatever, that made them look more human, and now they're trying to kind of transferring into Klingon now, finally. So maybe that's the reason. That's the reason I'm going with. And I guess I can buy that because they got the helmets and they didn't want to show their face when they were transitioning. They were kind of embarrassed about that. So, but I do like the helmets. That's actually a pretty cool uniform, I got to say. I like the whole vibe there. The uniform's pretty good. Yeah, I guess one thing he did right was the uniforms in this new one. Increased weapon damage once every 10 seconds. Disable weapons for 2 seconds. That's the starship trait called Standoff. Now we've got the Teleru Intel Carrier Warbird. So this is the Romulan ship, because that looks pretty fantastic right there. Yeah, that I like. I like that look a lot. I wish we had a different view or different angle of it. Captains from the Romulan Republic will also be given the chance to win a unique starship prize, the Kelvin Timeline Teleru Intel Cruiser Warbird Tier 6. Outfitted for reconnaissance and striking deep behind enemy lines, the ship is a true intelligence starship capable of utilizing gather intelligence and a commander rank intelligence specialist bridge officer seat. This is in addition to its innate battle cloak and a single hangar bay of Kelvin Timeline Scorpion fighters. Although the technology was developed for civilian mining operations, a console universal mining drill laser comes standard. Oh, now we can blow up our own Vulcan planets. Poor Vulcan, rest in peace. Easily weaponized and potentially devastating, this long-duration energy discharge grows more and more powerful the longer you keep it focused on an enemy, while steadily eroding their damage resistance. The recharge time on the mining drill laser is also proportionate to the time spent locked onto a target, allowing you to use a brief burst of additional damage, blah blah blah. Got highly specialized. When activating any Intel Command Pilot or Temp Op Bridge Officer ability, gain bonuses to hull repair, weapon specialization, and exotic particle generators. Reduce recharge timers on all other special Bridge Officer abilities. Okay. Ooh, oh, they're doing that one. They're doing this one. Wow. Wow. Okay, they're doing that. That's a thing, guys. They're doing that. Because there it is. Wow. Last in our new Starship offerings, but certainly not least, is the devastating and imposing Kelvin Timeline Intel Dreadnought Cruiser, also known as the Vengeance class. The low-buy store will see the addition of easily the most massive and powerful intelligence vessel ever offered. It is capable of making use of gather intel mechanics, as well as coming with a commander rank intelligence specialist bridge officer seat. As if its standard array of weaponry wasn't enough, the Vengeance is pre-fitted with a universal broadside emitter array. This technology is basically additional banks of emitter arrays mounted on the exterior broadside arcs of the ship. In order to minimize their power draw and performance impact, these emitters can only be powered up for brief periods of time, and their targeting sensors are set to automatically acquire targets. In an attempt to make up for their limited usage, they have been set to fire at an extremely rapid pace. These arrays also offer a passive increase to the recharge of all captain abilities. I wonder if you can use fire at will with them. Be like, pew, 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 pew. Probably. Target-rich environment. When damaging any foe with cannon, scatter volley, or beam fire at will, gain a stacking bonus to outgoing weapon damage for a small amount of time. We're getting the Vengeance, guys. It's a thing. It's happening. So, wow. Okay. Whew. That is a thing. Ooh, I see ground stuff, and I like that. The ability to purchase and fly the Kelvin Dreadnought Cruiser will be restricted only to Federation characters. However, Klingons and Romulans will instead be offered the ability to purchase a Kelvin Dreadnought package from the low-buy store, which includes both the console and the Starship trait. So you can't get the ship, but you can get the trait and the console. And it's part of a set as well. That does a whole lot of things. And whatever this is, I want that. That's a cool looking suit, actually. I like the helmet. It looks like 31st century technology. Though at least it's the same color as the ships, so. But there's more. Okay, in addition to the ships and technology scavenged from the alternate reality, there are also personnel that have made the leap across the universe's boundaries. Oh, really? Personnel, huh? Kelvin Timeline Federation officers? Wow, and duty officers? Okay. Genetic resequencers, new ground traits, and space traits. Wow, there's a lot here, guys. So much here I can't even go over all of it. But you guys can come back and read this if you want to check it all out. I'm kind of skimming over it now. Cold fusion flash, target AoE cold damage. Oh wow, we're getting that too. That's a thing. Very silver. In addition to kit modules, players will be able to obtain bridge officer training manuals for ranks 1, 2, 3 of any of the abilities. Rounding out the offerings of new equipment will be new unique space and ground weaponry. When opened, each Kelvin Timeline weapons pack will offer the player a choice between space weapons, ground Federation weapons, or ground Klingon weapons. Wow, we're getting the Kelvin Timeline phaser emitter ray or a Kelvin Timeline photon torpedo launcher. Man, I mean, they might as well just open up the entire universe to us. We're getting everything that nobody thought we would ever get from the JJ Trek universe is coming to Star Trek Online. They might as well just rename the game now. I like the looks of that helmet there. That's pretty cool looking. I guess that's the Klingon outfit. That's kind of cool. So, okay, yeah, July 6th. I was right. This is all coming July 6th. So this is right around the corner. Oh, man. That's a lot. You know what? They just might as well call this Agents of Starships. Because that's all we're getting is like, everything is a starship. It's like so many starships. Another weekly before and after shot. Let's look at this one. Before, after. Well, again, it's just like more yellow and brighter. I like that look better. It looks more dramatic. That looks just orange. They changed the color from red to orange. I mean, look, red on the left, orange on the right. Red, orange, red, orange. I don't like orange. Everything's so washed out with the new lighting. Look at this Gorn here, for example. Doesn't that look more menacing? Him in the shadows, him in the dark, with that contrast. Now look at the after shot. He's washed out. He's got light on him. I don't know. He's just not the same. I don't know, guys. I mean, I'm sure that this is going to look okay once we get into it. And maybe the brightness is just, I don't know. They got it turned up too high. I don't know what's going on. But we'll see what happens. Okay, well, that was a lot of junk. I have been recording for over an hour now. And my mouth is dry. My food is on fire in the oven. I'm ready to eat. Do something. So here we go. Agents of Yesterday is coming like very quickly. I may not do any more news updates before it comes out because it's just so close now. And unless there's just some really big news or something to talk about, I will. We'll see what happens. You know, we'll just see what happens by July 6th. If something comes out by July 6th, I'll go ahead and record it. But as for exploring the content that's coming, why, yes, I will be doing all of that content. Now, it's going to take some time. I was hoping to have Rami Summers, my free-to-play character that I'm doing a playthrough in, finished by now, which would allow me more time to get into Agents of Yesterday, but I don't have her done yet. So there's going to be an overlap there, and that's going to take some of my time away. But I am going to get to Agents of Yesterday and do as much as I can. Any special featured episodes I will play. I will do a playthrough of the original series. If there's, all the new ships and stuff coming out, I will try to get them and do my best on reviews and get those ships. I want to cover all this content. I'll probably do like a day one video where I go through the game and just kind of look at what's new and what you can do and figure it all out, because I want to know how it's going to work with this, being a temporal operative kind of thing, and then, playing the TOS content, and then as a level 60 character or an in-game character, going in and playing the content as an in-game character. How do you do that? I want to go in and see how it's all done. So I'll make a video on that on the very first day that this launches, so that we can figure out what to do, how you're going to go in the game and what kind of content you're going to go experience and how to go about it. I'll do a video on that. And then after that, I will explore the content and record videos, on the missions and all the other stuff like that. So all that stuff will come. It will just take time because this is a huge expansion. I mean, look how many ships and powers and just everything that they're throwing into this game. It's going to take me and you and everyone a very long time to explore all of it. So be patient with me. I will have all that content out. It's going to take a series of months. I'm not going to, have it all done in July. Certainly not. It's going to be, over the course of several months. So if you don't check out my channel very often, I would recommend that you do so for the next few months, so that you can see all the new things out, because it is going to take a while, and you may want to bookmark my channel or whatever so that you can keep checking on it and see what's new, because it's just going to be an ongoing thing for an extended period of time, like has been so far on my channel since I created it. Star Trek Online seems to be the dominant thing, and that's just simply because there's so much to explore in it that, it's been several years and I'm still doing Star Trek Online videos, because there's just always new stuff coming out to explore and do, which is good and great, and I like that. So it's just going to be a continuing, ongoing thing. You know what I'm saying? It's going to be forever until I die or whatever. So, yeah. Let me know what you think so far about all these announcements, about what's coming to the game. Ships, powers, all kinds of crap. Is it too much? Are you overwhelmed? Because I'm overwhelmed. I'm not going to lie. I'm completely overwhelmed. I'm good at this game. I've been playing it for 6 years. I know what's in this game. I have learned, and I'm overwhelmed. I can't remember it all. I literally am overwhelmed right now. So I can only guess what new players to this game might feel like. They might feel like they have this huge iceberg on top of them with this game, because there's just so much to learn now. There didn't used to be, but there's just so much to learn now. They may feel intimidated by it. So I'm curious if you do. If you're a new player, do you feel intimidated by all this new stuff? Do you feel like you can learn it, or is it just too much for you and you just want to, say quit it all and go play something else that's a little more simple? You know what I mean? I wonder about that. I wonder if Cryptic thinks about that, and I think if they don't, they need to. Alright, well, I'm going to leave it there. I could go on forever. Thank you all for watching this news video, and stay tuned for the next one.